Mutual attraction, money, and time freedom are the best chance at the most functional family unit. And when you look at intersexual dynamics and dating and sex and money and just how that plays out and raising a family, it's very difficult because there's always the potential for a couple to go into a relationship and they think it's monogamous, and then there's cheating, infidelity, money issues, stress, the in-laws, just the day-to-day life stuff. And then you got like work that you're strapped to, where you got this chunk of time where you report to this boss and you can't get time off to see your kid's baseball game because you're working, and this person can't cover your shift. So all these different things affect a family unit. And so it's never going to be 100%, living with other people in any context. But in terms of raising children in a functional atmosphere, the most functional atmosphere that you possibly can, there's a couple things between the man and the woman that if they get on lock, then that's going to have the best chance of creating that functional family unit. And so the three areas that I want to touch on with this are the mutual attraction, the money, and the time freedom. So the first one with the mutual attraction, that's key because you get a lot of people based on their timeline in life, or the woman's biological clock, or they think they're getting older, so they think it's like time to find someone. Or how's it going, guys?
Good, how are you?
Good. But they think it's time to find someone for whatever reason, or they meet someone and it's like, oh, I think this is the one, or we hit it off, and they're starting a relationship or whatever the case may be. There's certain things that the two of them are not always mutually attracted to each other, especially as they get older and the woman's biological clock kicks in. A lot of times, if she does want that kid and want that family, she has to do that naturally by a certain age. And so when you're on that rush timeline, she might be in her 30s, like it's the fourth quarter of a game, like a basketball game. She's like down by 2, needs a 3, or she's like on the 50-yard line and she needs a Hail Mary. She's down by like 6 points or something. And so like it's like we better throw the touchdown and convert for the extra point. But when she's in her 30s, a lot of times that happens because she has that natural timeline. So if she's looking for the family and she sees a guy, okay, well, he has a decent job and he's nice and we kind of get along. And so people make these compromises, women doing it to men and men also doing it to women based on the woman a man thinks he can get, or like the level he thinks he can get. He's settling in a certain way or compromising, and she's also settling or compromising in a certain way, and that's just a disaster. If you're gonna be doing the whole kids thing and you actually want a family, there's no guarantee that you guys are gonna be monogamous or that's gonna be a perfect relationship. Of course you're gonna have ups and downs, but at the very least you gotta be attracted to each other. You can't like have the weeks go by and you haven't had sex. Like that's just doomed, right? That's just not going to work. Like you need to be mutually attracted to each other. So that's like step one, is finding the person that you're mutually attracted to, so that at least with everything else to deal with in life, you at least like looking at each other or fucking each other or being together. So that's key, the mutual attraction. How's it going, guys? But then also too, the money aspect of that. So being realistic about what it would take to raise a functional family, it takes a certain amount of money in a monetary system that's placed on us to just get by and to afford groceries and just like basic life necessities, bills, rent, mortgage, all of that. So when money's not there, like if it's two people start dating in their 20s and then they're both minimum wage workers and now they're both 30 and they feel like they're both have their time is running out, so they have a kid right at 30, but they're both still these minimum wage workers. It's not, this is where it gets tricky, because then someone says, oh, well, like how can you imply that someone doesn't have the right to procreate just because of their situation? It's not that they don't have the right. I'm just saying, from what we've seen in human history and just your own observation, like growing up, maybe your household, your friend's household, classmates at school, their household, When the money's not there, that just adds a layer of stress. So that is huge to get on lock, because you don't want to be struggling for basic necessities: food, shelter, health, water, a little bit of fun and entertainment, relaxation. You want the money to be there. To, like I said, this functional family unit, it's never gonna be 100%, but you could get a high percentage, right? You don't want to have like a 30% functionality. You want it like, like 80 or 90, right? It's never gonna be perfect, but that's what I'm saying with these 3 points. It's like, if these 3 points aren't there, like, that's just a doomed situation. So like, the money is huge. Having the money to afford things, unfortunately, in a world and society like this where the monetary system is placed on us, you need some of it to get by, and that does affect relationships. And a lot of people don't like to acknowledge that, because based on the amount of money that they make, they get their feelings hurt by it. And so they say, oh, well, money's not important, money isn't everything, which of course it's not, but being realistic about what's going to bring you a good lifestyle and what's going to be attractive to a woman, what you can offer her. I mean, she's not trying to live in a cardboard box on the street, so it takes a little bit of money to put a roof over her head, where there's not a hole in it, where if it rains, she's sleeping and there's like water coming through the ceiling. It takes a little bit of money to not have that relationship and that family unit being dysfunctional. It takes a little bit of money to make it as smooth as possible. Which brings me to the third point, which is the time freedom. Because say the other two are already in check. You got, say like the handsome CEO that's making millions. Okay, so they got like the mutual attraction between the man and the woman. They got the money. But if he's a CEO working like 60 to 70 hours a week, what is that even worth? You're not even seeing your kids. Like, you make so much money and you buy this nice car, but like the purpose of it is just to like drive the car to your workplace. Like, that's just, and then like you're there working and then you just drive it back home. You have like an hour before bed. You just make dinner all quick, then fall asleep. So you have that 8-hour block of time where you're sleeping, and then it's like up to work again. All that money and that mutual attraction, that it doesn't really matter if there's no time freedom. Because then you don't have the time freedom to be with the family, be with the kids, get to know your kids. Not just get to know your kids as the human beings they are, but get to know their spiritual path. Get to know the woman you're with. Spending time with each other. Just waking up and not every day just having to be like, oh, I have to report to this job. This boss needs me here at 8. So you're like waking up all rushed in the morning. You don't even see your spouse if you're married, or if you're not married, you don't even see her, or if you're a girl, you don't even see him, because you have this 8-hour block of time in the day, 5 days a week. You got this 40-hour block of time where you don't even see each other. So that creates all these situations of different relationships coming into play. So like the girl that has the work boyfriend, the guy that has the work girlfriend, because they're not even together 40 hours a week. Of course you're gonna like meet other people and like be attracted to them, and like, so you need the time freedom to cultivate a relationship, cultivate a family, have some direction of where this family unit is going and what the goals are. These 3 are very hard to obtain, which is why, especially as the man being looked to as the leader and the provider and the alpha, he's going to ascend with age, and it's going to take him more time to acquire these things to make this functional. And so if a man can tap into these mindsets young and really start working, like I said, it's never going to be 100%, and people are going to always judge whatever. But say a man out of high school at 18 or college at 22, he just starts grinding, and so he gets himself to a point by 30 where he's got some money, and maybe he has the money through a business he started. He starts hiring people, so now he can oversee it. He has a little bit more time freedom. Now he has like the house to live in to raise that family. He's got the money to take care of the family. And he's got the time freedom because he worked in his 20s to build that business, and now people work for him. Now, if he just finds a woman where they're mutually attracted to each other, that's going to be the most functional family unit possible. And it's never going to be 100%. But with the goal in mind of keeping this society going and trying to ascend ourselves spiritually and to make sure the next generation lives better than how we lived, there's certain things about like the male-female relationship that just makes sense to line up. And so these are 3 areas that anyone that wants a family, I advise. Those are 3 things that you got to get on lock. When I was growing up, I always thought I'd want a family, want kids, and then I got older and I was 100% no. Now I'm a little bit more on the fence, just depending on how things play out. And I don't think it's a rite of passage. I would have no problem going through life with no kids. But the thing is, like right now, I'm selling tie-dye for this nonprofit out here in San Diego. I'm 26 currently. I'll be 27 next month. But I like it. I like where I'm at. I like that I'm selling this tie-dye. I get to have like kind of an independent job. I'm gonna start my business pretty soon and be out here at La Jolla Cove doing my own business. So I'll go from commission on the tie-dye sales to my own business. But there's a progression to things. So say I meet a woman just from selling tie-dye, which I do. I mean, in San Diego, high tourist city. I do a sales job at the beach and the San Diego Zoo. I meet people all the time. But like, I can meet a girl where we hit it off or whatever, and maybe she's my age of 26. So she has that biological clock that's ticking in a way where it's not for me. So if we were to do whatever, dating or whatever we do, who's to say that if she's looking for that family due to her time, and I'm here, I have to work. So it's like, what if she gets into the whole, like I'm talking to a girl here and then like, oh, like I saw the way you looked at her, I saw the way you, but it's like, I'm 26, I gotta work, I gotta make money to like get to the point where I can provide something. So it's just like, certain things are just not functional at a certain time. So you gotta get the mutual attraction, you gotta get the money, and you gotta get the time freedom. As a man, start now and look towards your future that way if you want kids.